Today we're taking a look at the Utah Jazz vs Los Angeles Clippers match, which is happening on Friday, June 18, 2021, and giving you my betting tips and predictions in general on this game. Welcome back to High Stakes. Let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. And if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. 5 plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 270 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours and hours of your time searching the internet for some fake betting predictions and losing your money because of it. Join High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks and advices instantly. The Utah Jazz's dependence on the three-point shot was abundantly clear in Game 5 against the LA Clippers. Their offense was fueled by the 17 trays they drained from downtown in the first half, but they completely fell apart after the break, going just 3 of 24 from deep. The Utah Jazz are also feeling the impact of injuries. Donovan Mitchell lacked his usual explosiveness on Wednesday and admitted that he was feeling some pain in his right ankle. Mike Conley has missed all 5 matchups in this series due to a hamstring injury, but he may feature in Game 6 given the do-or-die situation that the Jazz are in. The Utah Jazz are averaging 116.7 points on 47% shooting and allowing 116.4 points on 47.7% shooting. Donovan Mitchell is averaging 31.6 points and 5.1 assists, while Bojan Bogdanovic is averaging 18.5 points and 1.6 assists. Mike Conley is the third double-digit scorer and Jordan Clarkson is dishing 1.5 assists. The Utah Jazz are shooting 40.6% from beyond the arc and 80.6% from the free throw line. The Utah Jazz are allowing 37.6% shooting from deep and are grabbing 42.3 rebounds per game. Bojan Bogdanovic's shooting in Game 5 was a huge positive for the Utah Jazz. Bogdanovic torched the LA Clippers from range in the first quarter, hitting each of his first 6 attempts from distance. The Serbian finished with a team-high 32 points in that matchup. Whether he's fully fit or not, the fate of the Utah Jazz will rest largely on the shoulders of Donovan Mitchell. No other player on the Jazz roster has the explosiveness to take over proceedings entirely in the clutch. Despite struggling in Game 5, Mitchell managed to score 11 points in the fourth quarter. He leads both teams in scoring in the series, averaging 34 points, 4.6 assists, and 4.2 rebounds per game. The LA Clippers were given little chance after news of Kawhi Leonard's knee injury broke ahead of Game 5. But Tyronn Lue's men stuck together and put up a complete team effort to pick up an important road win against the Utah Jazz. With the news that Kawhi Leonard would be out indefinitely with a knee injury, there wasn't much hope for Clippers fans that their team could win in Utah without him. But Paul George was playoff P and put the team on his back as the Clippers pulled off the shocking upset. The Clippers took Game 6 in Utah against the number 1 seed, 119-111. The Clippers now lead the series 3-2. George had one of his best games of the season with 37 points and 16 rebounds with 5 assists. Marcus Morris also stepped up to fill the scoring void with 25 points, while Reggie Jackson continued his strong play with 22 points. The Clippers shot 51% from the floor and their defense held Utah to 45% shooting. The Clippers also had 11 steals and forced 13 Jazz turnovers. Reggie Jackson was among the more impressive performers on Wednesday. Jackson had managed just 4 points in the prior matchup and had only racked up 10 points through 3 quarters in Game 5. But he turned up big for the LA Clippers down the stretch, scoring an additional 12 points in the fourth to close out the game. Marcus Morris has also found good form after struggling through the first 3 matchups of the series. Morris has scored 24 and 25 points in Games 4 and 5 respectively. His hard-nosed defense also comes in handy for the LA Clippers while protecting the paint. Paul George exploded for 37 points, 16 rebounds and 5 assists in Game 5. In Leonard's absence, George needs to lead the charge on offense, set the tone defensively, and even run the point for the LA Clippers at times, all of which he did on Wednesday. PG-13 has scored over 30 points in 3 straight games against the Utah Jazz, and another such performance could help his side clinch the series. The LA Clippers have been in control of proceedings in this series since the opening tip of Game 3, and they don't seem in the mood to slow down. Other role players have stepped up in the absence of Kawhi Leonard and Serge Ibaka. The Utah Jazz haven't been bad at all, but their opponents have been one step ahead of late. Donovan Mitchell is their only player who's been able to penetrate the paint effectively. With Mitchell playing through his ankle pain, shooting a lot of three-pointers has been the Jazz's primary offensive strategy. The high volume of shots doesn't necessarily lead to results, as we witnessed in Game 5. The Jazz clearly are not the same team without Mike Conley, and they are reeling right now, having lost 3 straight games for the first time this season. I thought the Clippers had no chance on Wednesday without Kawhi Leonard, but they showed all the doubters something. Conley is still questionable, and if he doesn't play, LA will take the W. My first betting advice for that game is to pick LA Clippers +2. The Utah Jazz suffered a shocking loss on Wednesday, losing to the LA Clippers 119-111 in Game 5 in their own building. The Clippers now lead the series 3-2. This was a colossal choke job by the Jazz. Not only were they home, but they were facing a team without first-team All-NBA star and their best player, Kawhi Leonard. Inexcusable. Utah shot 45% from the floor and made 23 pointers, but their defense was lacking against the Leonard-less Clippers. The Los Angeles Clippers are averaging 113.9 points on 48.8% shooting and allowing 107.7 points on 45.3% shooting. Kawhi Leonard is averaging 30.4 points and 7.7 rebounds, while Paul George is averaging 25.9 points and 9.3 rebounds. Reggie Jackson is the third double-digit scorer, and Marcus Morris Sr. is grabbing 4.3 rebounds. The Los Angeles Clippers are shooting 39.1% from beyond the arc and 84.1% from the free throw line. The Los Angeles Clippers are allowing 39.7% shooting from deep and are grabbing 41.4 rebounds per game. Everyone talked about how this was a big game for Paul George, but George stepped up. Donovan Mitchell did not. Mitchell only had 21 points in the biggest game of the season and only shot 6 of 19. Bojan Bogdanovic stepped up, however, with 32 points with 9 three-pointers. Rudy Gobert added 17 points and 10 rebounds, while Jordan Clarkson had 15 points off the bench. With the news that Kawhi Leonard would be out indefinitely with a knee injury, there wasn't much hope for Clippers fans that their team could win in Utah without him. But Paul George was playoff P and put the team on his back as the Clippers pulled off the shocking upset. The Clippers took Game 6 in Utah against the number 1 seed, 119-111. The Clippers now lead the series 3-2. The Jazz are 4-0 ATS in their last 4 road games and 6-0 ATS in their last 6 games overall. The Clippers are 1-4 ATS in their last 5 home games and 5-2 ATS in their last 7 games overall. The over is 8-2 in Jazz last 10 overall. The under is 17-7-1 in Clippers last 25 overall. The Jazz are 9-3 ATS in the last 12 meetings in Los Angeles and 5-1 ATS in the last 6 meetings. My second betting advice for that game is to pick under.